Hi, Don.
Hi, Josie.
Happy to see you today.
Happy to see you too.
Um,
So, we're having a discussion today, and I have a question for you. Looking back at the time you discovered you had sickle cell, what was your reaction, and and how were your initial thoughts at the time?
I don't know. I was 3, so I honestly don't know. But I think I was just curious. I don't think I had I didn't think of myself any different.
Yeah.
I just okay, that I fall sick once in a while or fall sick a lot more than anyone else, and then yeah, that was about it for me. You?
Well, I was 6 months old, so I didn't even have thoughts at the time.
Yeah.
But I think when I started processing it properly, I was like maybe 6, 7. And yeah, I also just thought I was normal until I got like my first hospitalization. Then I was like, I'm not normal.
I think my biggest realization was when I really, really loved swimming.
Yeah.
So I'd always go swim and then fall sick. And then come back and then do it again until I was like, okay, no, I need to stop.
Swimming is a no-no.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me. So I guess that was it on my end.
Yeah, also sports, man. Sports in high school really made me, I was like, wow, I really can't participate in anything.
Yeah.
I just have to stay in my room.
I get
can't
that.
Play tennis, can't. Yeah.
What were your earliest memories growing up with sickle cell? How was it like?
I guess it's kind of like what I just said. Being very different, not being able to participate in like your friends' activities. You go swimming as a group and you just have to sit there and watch while everyone's having fun.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was always sports. So that's like
that's
the memory that hurt the most. Just not being able to participate.
I think me not being able to play as much because I was a very active child. So I liked playing football. I grew up with boys, so
Tomboy.
climbing trees, all that. But then every time I would do it, I was either so exhausted or it was just strange. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun being a child.
Yeah.
Like you would want to be a child.
I can relate. So is it hard talking about your condition?
Not anymore. It used to be. But with time I grew into it. I realized I cannot hide it because when I would get ill, I would disappear for a long time and then I would have to come back and answer questions. So I think that pushed me to also be able to talk about it as much as I would. To this level. But before it was quite difficult and people had very weird assumptions and questions. So I would rather not say much because it would get into a very strange conversation actually.
For me, it's actually just until recently, like the past 2 years. Otherwise, like high school, I never talked about it. University, my friends didn't know until I started getting really sick. So maybe like in the past 3 years, I've become more comfortable talking about it.
Okay. What's the weirdest reaction you got after telling someone you had sickle cell?
Man, there's so many. Contagious.
Really?
Yeah. Is it contagious? Can I catch it?
That was the question they asked you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
For real.
Well, I think mine was a guy who was interested in me. And like, I don't want to say that I use it to vet people, but I just like throw it out there. I have sickle cell. And he stopped talking to me.
Immediately.
He ghosted me.
That's so
It
sad.
was so funny. It was, no, on my end it was funny because it was via like chat, and then he was suggesting that we do swimming, or like, go swimming or go to
Yeah.
the beach and everything. I'm like, oh, it should actually be fun, but I don't swim. And he insisted, is it because you don't know how to swim? I can teach you how to swim. And I'm like, no, I have sickle cell, so I don't swim. And that's where the conversation ended. It was the first time someone actually had a weird reaction.
Yeah.
So I laughed about it for a long time. It was just interesting.
I've definitely had friends cut me off also. Just stopped inviting me for events and stuff.
Yeah.
It sucks. If you had to go back in time, what's the one thing you would change that sickle cell stole from you?
What's the one thing I'll change?
Yeah, if you go back in time. That sickle cell stole from you.
I think the freedom to be myself to the capacity that I would want to, because I'm actually a very vibrant person. But then with sickle cell hanging on my forehead, it's like very, very difficult to be able to be spontaneous.
Yeah, I think my answer is also the same, because the anxiety about just like even just going out, you have to think about, you have to plan everything, you have to pack clothes just in case, like warm clothes in the car, change of trousers. So I guess the one thing I would change is, similar. Because I really like enjoying being around people, but you really have to isolate a lot.
Yeah.
Look after yourself first.
Does it get scary at times?
Yeah, a lot. Because anything can spark a crisis. So, like last night, for example, just going out, wake up with elbow pain. It gets scary. And then also just thinking about other people's experiences. Like a chick who went to sleep and woke up blind. She had never had a crisis in her life. She went to sleep and woke up blind because she had clots in her eyes because of sickle cell. Sickle cell made me give up something I loved, sex life.
Wow. I don't hide, so obviously I have my painkiller. Oh God, this is so.
Thumbs down.
My trick is I'll take a painkiller before and after to help me out with, in case it gets too physical or gets too active. So, yeah. You?
For me, maybe just sexual positions because of my replacements. But otherwise it hasn't really affected my sex life.
Okay. Your relationship?
I think the only way it's affected my relationship is in the discussion of having children in the future, because we still need to do the test, but if she's a carrier, what happens?
Okay. Not really my relationships. Can't say relationship. It hasn't really affected because maybe the people, fortunately, are very open to it. But yes, the part of kids is a big conversation that, I had to make a decision where I'm like, I know I do not want to have children because I do not want my children to see me go through a crisis, because it's very hectic just even for the people caring for us. So it's one of those things where if I meet someone who wants to have kids, I cannot take that away from them. But so that definitely would affect the relationship. But if I ever met someone who does not have a problem not having children, then maybe we can have that discussion.
Yeah. Has it affected your social life? How has it affected your social life?
I feel left out most of the time. I have a great group of friends, but there are things they're able to do that I can't do. And maybe sometimes I feel like I'm boring because I'll probably not drink as much as they'll drink, or I won't stay out as late as they would, want to stay out, and sometimes I'm not involved in things because they feel, oh, she's already home, she's sleeping, they don't want to get, like, I know it comes from a place of love, but sometimes it feels good to be included. Like, yes, there's times when you would invite me and I would say, no, I can't make it, so it pushes them to, like, if she's already home, then don't stress, or she's already, it's coming from a place of love, but on my end, but like, sometimes just let me know. You never know where my energy is.
Yeah.
Like, you never know if I will come through or not. Like, I appreciate that they understand that, yes, I have my down times, but certain ways in which they show their understanding leaves me feeling left out.
Yeah, it's exactly the same for me. I feel left out a lot because I just be there on Snap seeing my friends enjoying, and I'm like, you guys didn't hit me up?
You didn't
All
tell
right,
me.
cool. And then I just disappear for a few weeks.
School?
How has it affected school? I mean, I've missed a lot of exams because I've just been in a crisis. It took me longer to graduate than a lot of my friends. Like, university took me 6 years. I think you guys did it in 3 or 4. So, yeah, repeating.
The weird thing for me about school is every time I had finals, I was in a crisis.
Yeah.
Every single time I was in a crisis. So I feel like my performance was not my best, and it still disturbs me up to now. But it was good. It just, like, I know I can do better. I know.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only part where I feel like school, because every single time I was in a crisis. Every single time we had finals, I was in a crisis. So, yeah.
Even for me, I got dropped from a diploma program. I was doing my diploma earlier this year, and when I was in hospital, I missed 3 weeks. So they just dropped me. I was like, what? I've paid so much money. But anyway, how's it affected your career?
Well, my entire career is based off my sickle cell story. I was employed at a point. My employer did not like the fact that I was in and out. And one day when I'm like cold and sick, she said, get a drug and come in.
Wow.
And I told her it's impossible for me to come in because I'm in a very bad sickle cell crisis. And she wasn't getting it.
Yeah, also for me, just a lot of sick days, and then guys in the office don't understand, and they feel like the money you're earning isn't justified. Definitely been fired from jobs, but thanks to the pandemic, I am working from home full time, and I'm not going back. And I have terrible insomnia because just the worry of like a crisis through the night. So I usually take a painkiller before I sleep, even just so I can sleep constantly throughout the night. And when I talk to doctors about it, they're like, that's so unhealthy. But I'm like, okay, you try sleeping with pain every day. I have to meditate, I have to drink tea, I have to take a painkiller, then lie in bed and just hopefully fall asleep eventually. But my girlfriend she's like, I'm tired. And she goes to sleep in like an hour, in like a minute. I'm so jealous. How has it affected your food eating? Yeah, for me, I've tried a few different like diets. Like I was vegan for like 2 years. I felt like the pain was reduced, the daily pain, but I was just hungry all the time because I was just eating greens only. But now, yeah, having to include greens and stuff, I don't like greens really. And then another thing is beetroot. I really hate beetroot, but
Oh yeah, I hate beetroot too.
but we have to eat it. We have to drink it.
I'd forgotten about beetroot, hibiscus.
Hibiscus.
Yeah.
I drink so much hibiscus now, and it's crazy because it doesn't taste nice.
I actually have a friend who makes fun of me every single time she sees me with the red drink. I should be like, ew, you and your lousy drinks. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's just a funny joke that we have. Like I have no choice. I have to drink this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to drink this. But anyway, we have to survive. How has it affected you generally as a person?
How's it affected me generally as a person? Just affects every decision I make throughout the day. Like the whole water thing, you have your little bottle by your side at all moments.
Yeah.
Or big bottle, I guess. Yeah, from clothing, eating, what you eat, water, almost just literally every decision.
The craziest crisis I got was from eating ice cream. I went for ice cream with a friend of mine, and it was a great day, honestly.
Yeah.
And then I get into the car, and then these bones were in pain. I'm like, this cannot be it. And it was a hot day. It wasn't like it was cold. It was a very hot day. And I was in pain. My hands were paining because I was eating ice cream earlier. So sickle cell now ice cream is one of those things I'm afraid of. Like I like it, but I'm afraid of it. So it has made me think through literally every single part of my life, every decision that I have to make, everywhere I have to go. I'm never excited for things because I don't know if I'll be able to make it to the things.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if when people say, "Oh, next week we should go do this," I can't say yay. Looking forward. I will not. I won't even have an emotion towards it. I'll just. Most of the time, I don't even agree that I'll be there. I don't say yes, I'll come through. It will be probably on that day, like, okay, how I'm feeling is going to decide if I'm going to show up or not.
Yeah.
I can't plan 6 months ahead. I can't even plan for my own birthday because I don't know if I'm going to be fine on my birthday.
That's so true. That's the worst part.
Yeah. So I feel it has really taken away that from me to be able to plan ahead, to be able to plan for my own future. I live day by day. So that's, weird.
Yeah, it's really tough because even like my friends want to plan a trip to Nairobi next month, end of the month, for the World Rally Championship, and I'm like, I'm down, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, there's only one spot left. Can you let me know now? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's so hard because you can't, even if you did, and then on that day, then something, you get a crisis, then you have to cancel.
Or if we get there and have a crisis.
Exactly.
God, that would suck. How's it affected your finances?
I think it was up until recently that I started, contributing to my medications, and I never realized how expensive the painkillers were. Because before, I always managed to get painkillers from home. My dad would take care of that part, but then when I moved out of home, of course, he's not going to know when I've run out or something. So I started, buying my pain meds. I know what to take, but I never knew how expensive the pain meds were.
Yeah.
Then even when I get a crisis at office, and then I first go to the hospital for first aid as I wait to be picked up, just consultation, a whole, expense. So yes, it has definitely affected my finances in a way that it's something I had never thought of putting into consideration. And then when I didn't realize how much of an expense it was going to be.